All right, welcome to the shop, my friends, for another Custom Bike Builds Weekly. This week it is a custom themed one focusing on street fighters. And what is a street fighter, you might ask? A street fighter is a road bike with flat handlebars, simply put. In my case, I think of it kind of as those street fighter motorcycles, which are typically slammed flat handlebar motorcycles, like a cafe racer kind of style, but that done on a bicycle instead of a motorcycle. So we're looking at road bikes, fast, quick, with that flat handlebar. Sometimes that means swapping it out with mountain bike components, shifters, brake levers, things of the like. And we're gonna jump into several. Several of you guys had responded to my request last week asking for some additional submissions. For those that don't know, there's a link in the description of all my Custom Bike Build Weekly videos where you can fill out a form and submit your bike for review on videos like this. Then from the bikes that I review in that video, I normally send out a gift to my favorite, and this week will be the same. I'll be sending out another old shovel trucker hat to my favorite of these custom bike builds this week. So let's get into it. So yeah, we're digging into street fighters, and yeah, let's get into the first one here. So this first one actually is from Jasper, and Jasper has a lot to say about this Norco Street Fighter. This is what he's got. You can find Jasper on YouTube at Neff Bikes, so check him out. This is a Norco Victory 1985 chromoly road bike that I reimagined as a fast, all-road Street Fighter style bike. I am primarily a mountain biker, and I really prefer the feeling of wide and flat bars. I built this bike up frame only. My goal with this bike was to reuse as many parts as I could from my father's old Specialized hybrid bike. He was my primary influence in my love of bikes and building, and it was really important to me that his old bike was incorporated into my build. So he's got a lot to say. It weighs 22.5 pounds. It has stem and seat post suspension that has saved my butt from potholes on a few occasions. It also makes for a great fast gravel bike as long as conditions aren't too wet. I also love the cockpit of this bike because I corner like a mountain biker by leaning hard into the bars, but I've also managed to create a comfortable hoods position with the SQ Labs inner bar ends, which for me is the perfect combination of hand positions. Overall, this bike is both function and aesthetic, is my ideal city/all-road bike. If you have any other Street Fighter builds sent your way, I think this bike could use some friends. Thanks, Old Shovel. So, really cool build. Let's see, parts he's got is the Norco Victory chromoly 23-inch 700C steel road bike frame. He's running Shimano Tiagra derailleur and crankset. Front wheel is a Mavic CX P22 rim with Shimano HB 2200 hub. The rear wheel is an Alex rim DA22 with a Shimano RH RS400 hub. It's got vintage down tube Shimano friction shifters, limited edition Silver Cane Creek S-Silk elastomer stem that's 90 millimeters, a Nitto B861 flat bar that's 685 millimeters wide, Vittoria Zafiro tires, 32 millimeters, Tektro 540M rim brakes, Sunlight 25.4 suspension seat post, Ergon SMC saddle, Ergon GS1 Evo Chili Red lock-on grips, FSA traditional chrome headset, Shimano Alivio bottom bracket, 1-Up red composite pedals, and SQ Labs inner bar ends. So really cool build. I really like the vintage frame. I really like the lugs on this frame. I like that it's a Norco, a Canadian bike. I'm a Canadian. I grew up in Canada. I live now in the United States. And just really cool looking, clean bike. I love the chrome ollie fork, polished. And I like the little details, Jasper. I like what you've done with this bike to make it a cool, like, Streetfighter build. I love the inner bike bar ends to give you those different positions, and the 2 touches of the suspension seat post and the suspension stem. Really cool idea, and beautiful bike. I really like the way this looks. I like the clean lines. I like the size of it all. The combo of new and old components on it. Well done. Thank you for sharing. All right. Number 2. So we've got 4 bikes, by the way, 4 bikes in today's list. Number 2. The second bike is this Bianchi, beautiful bike from Julian. And he says this: my dream speedy commuter. This is my first complete build, and it was while building it that I discovered your channel and work. Still a fan after 4 years. I fell in love with this frame, secondhand, and bought it straight away. Lucky me, it came with the Chris King headset and carbon fork. Almost everything here was bought secondhand: saddle, seat post, handlebar, derailleur, cranks, etc. And I sourced some red parts to finish the build. It's a crazy fast and light 7.5 kilogram bike that cost me 1,000 euros and some hours of learning and doing. So cool. I like that he's a fan. I like that watching my videos has helped him to do things like this. Thanks for the lessons. The frame is a Mega X Pro aluminum 7000 tubing. Not the one Pantani rode, but almost, it says. The fork is a 1-inch carbon, Chris King headset grip nut, saddle Fabric S Line Elite. Seat post tube is Tube de Salle 27.2 Brettreg carbon. Bottom bracket is a Cross BSA red. Shifter is SRAM Attack 9V, compatible with Shimano drivetrain and the push technology. I love it. It's running a Shimano Ultegra rear derailleur, Shimano cassette, a Dura-Ace crank set, crank Woozy 46 tooth narrow wide chainring. Wheels are Pro Light Bot A42s. Tires are Grand Prix 4 Seasons, 28 millimeters it looks like. Brake levers, Light Pro Red. Brakes are Tektro. And pedals are Xped XC-F05 AC Traverse 5s. So, this bike really stuck out to me. It's obvious also, it became the thumbnail for this video. It is a beautiful bike. Bianchis just are almost always beautiful, especially in their light blue colors. Some say it's a Celeste. There's different variations, obviously. This has got a little bit more blue than that mint green in the color. But the accents in red with the Chris King grip nut headset, the brake pads, the housing for the brake pads, just all of the little red accents on the chainring bolts, the pedals, the valve stem, the seat post clamp, all of these things I think really really accent well. It looks like even the brake levers, like you said, are red, which just makes for a really cool build. I love it when people put a lot of attention, not just into the parts that they put on, but just the accents that make the bike so much more beautiful. That's that rule number 2, like I've been saying lately a lot. I believe in the 3 rules of bikes. You got to have fun is rule number 1. Number 2 is look good. And number 3 is safety, or safety third, rather. And this bike it looks like it's ready for fun. Street Fighters are just fun. Straight up Street Fighters are fun, and this bike is fun, beautiful, and probably pretty safe too. Awesome, awesome build. Thank you, Julian, for sharing that with us. Oh, and Julian can be found on Instagram at Monsieur Mentrat. So check him out on Instagram. Next up, we have a bike from Rob. Great name, Rob. And looks like a nice beach behind you on this picture. So Rob can be found on Instagram at The Hung. So check him out. He says this about his bike. It's a 1989, I believe, Eddie Merckx. Not sure the model. It's an 8-speed Campagnolo group set. I bought it off an ex-bicycle messenger who he bought it off the original owner, who I shadowed when I first became a bicycle messenger back in 2000. So it's been in the bicycle messenger family. After buying it and setting it up how I wanted it, I used it for work, mostly as a backup bike, as my Cannondale bad boy is my main work bike. Today, I'm riding for a company who made me work on a cargo bike, so I don't ride it as much as I want to. That's awesome. It's awesome that this was a functional work bike used for bike messengering. Super, super cool. The fork is unknown. It's got a Soma stem, San Marco Rolls saddle, which I think are super cool saddles from the 80s. Thompson seat post. I love Thompson, he says. Silver bars, can't remember the brand. Not a problem. Lock-on grips, jet black or OD. And Maxxis Refuse 700 by 25C tires. I wish we could see a little bit more of the build. I can see like campy brakes on this. Not sure what the levers are. They actually kind of look like the Shimano STXRC brake levers that were made to work for both short pull and long pull, so you could change and adjust depending on where you have them set up. So those would work great for this build. The roll saddle is cool. The Thompson seat post. I like those those notch back seat posts on road bike builds. They just it looks classy. I love the down tube shifters. It's just a clean, purpose-built Street Fighter. So thank you, Rob, for sharing that with us. And I hope the cargo bike is enjoyable. Probably not quite as much fun as a Street Fighter for your work bike. So next up, we have a bike from Charlie, and you can find him on YouTube at Charlie Metcalf. So check him out. And let's take a look at this bike. This is my 1987 Cannondale Touring. According to the 1987 catalog, mine is either an ST400 or a ST600, the difference being components. The ST400 had Suntour and the ST600 had Shimano Dior with Shimano SIS down tube shifters. I purchased the frame in almost perfect condition. It is a dream bike. I've always wanted a Cannondale. So before I go into his parts, I'm a stickler to steel, but the Cannondale aluminum frames and the vintage Klein aluminum frames, both of them really surprised me how they felt. They didn't have that feel of the cheaper aluminum frames that you get in the 90s and the early 2000s. They were just beautiful, hand-built frames that performed as good as they looked. And this is a beautiful, beautiful frame by itself, and it is in beautiful condition. And I love the build out. It says strong light, iron light crankset, inner cycle headset, threadless converter, Dior LX 7-speed, Easton 680 millimeter flat bars, Velo orange stem, SR friction shifters, Diacomp Tech 77 brake levers, and Shimano brake calipers. So just a beautiful, beautiful clean bike. I like the Thompson seat post that we've got going on. I like on this one also, I like that Charlie's got a consistent look to it. We've got a lot of black components. It's got a black LX rear derailleur. I like the black pedals. I like the black brakes, seat post, stem, clamps, all of that, and it creates a constant cohesive look on the bike. And accenting black against red, I think, is just classic and clean. I really like the tires with the skin wall, sidewall. It gives it that classic look and feel. And yeah, just an awesome, awesome build. Thank you, Charlie, for submitting your Streetfighter. So before we hop into who my top choice is for this week, I just wanted to thank you all again for submitting your bikes and supporting this community custom bike builds. It's a really great opportunity for me, one, to see all the awesome things that you guys are doing, but also to share it with the Old Shovel community so that you guys can see some of the other awesome things besides just my builds that you can be doing with your bikes and the things that can be done and some of the awesome stuff that's going out there, giving old things new life. So go ahead, if you haven't submitted your bike yet, there is a link in the description of this video and all the custom bike build videos that gives you a place where you can upload your bikes and share it with us. You can submit your bike, and regularly on Thursdays I will be reviewing and sharing, typically 4 at a time, of my favorites. So, so who is the favorite on this one? This one was actually a hard one. It was a hard choice between 2 of these bikes. My favorite, though, really was, drum roll, and it might be that I'm a little partial on this. There's 2 things I'm partial on. I like steel, and I'm Canadian. And at the same time, Jasper, your build of your Norco Streetfighter build is just awesome. I think there's a few reasons, not just that it's a steel frame, a lugged, cool vintage steel frame, but I love some of the choices that I hadn't thought of, and that being the suspension stem and seat post that are still super clean and add a level of versatility to this build that I haven't seen on some of the other bikes that I've looked at. And although a lot of the bikes were really beautiful this week that I went through, I think your Norco is awesome. So I'll be reaching out to you, Jasper, to get your contact information and get you your Old Shovel hat. And as always, everybody, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of these 4 bikes in the comments. Have you built up a Streetfighter before? And what do you think of Streetfighters? And as always, look for opportunities to give those old things new life. And I'll see you on the next video. Ciao. Awesome build. Awesome, awesome build. Awesome, cool, vintage Norco Canadian frame. Love it.